Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So yesterday we've got the Leaders event in Hockey Ultimate Team for NHL 22, and we're going to rank all 6 of the new Master Set players. Now obviously, just by judging the reaction of the event, not a big win. Obviously, not every event can be an absolute banger, and this one was kind of a letdown in the sense that there isn't a lot of players that you would have or want to need on your team for the majority of the rest of this game. That being said, I still think there are some great master players in this, but it's not as exciting as some of the other events. I do need to mention that the next event should be the All-Stars event, and that's one of the more fun ones throughout the entire year. That being said, guys, let's get into the rankings of the Leaders Master Set players. All right, coming in at number 6 is the 94 Randy CARLYLE. I'm not going to lie, there was so many options for this event, and just like the majority of the players chosen for these master items this year has just been a big miss in my opinion. Like, I just think there were so many other options. Not that Randy CARLYLE, you know, just, yeah, no, I don't know. I got nothing here. I'm just not a huge fan of this. Anyways, regardless, speaking of the actual player and how he's going to play for your team, I'm not going to lie. This is basically the left-handed version of Adam Fox, essentially. However, he does have silver truculence. With that being said, I've been using Adam Fox as a majority of a lot of you have as well. He's great with the puck, but when he doesn't have it, there is a clear mismatch in terms of the bigger defensemen like Victor Hedman, for example. You notice it. It's very hard to knock guys off the puck, and I don't know if silver truculence would save the smaller players. I mentioned in the last few videos, I've been asking for your guys' feedback to see if this does actually fix some of the smaller defensemen and make them a little bit more usable. I've been trying to relay that info to EA. I just haven't really seen it all that much. Quick pick, I'm not going to lie, not really a needed ability once you get to 99 defensive awareness because you almost intercept anything anyways. And Born Leader is one of the most useless abilities for a defenseman. You just don't score DZ one-timers anymore, or at least the majority of the time, and it just really, again, not really one that you want to go after. So you eliminate pretty much every ability except for Truculence. And then he does have great skating sins. Like, obviously, he's a phenomenal skater, but it's just, there's so many better left-handed defensemen that are actually going to help you in your own zone, whereas Randy CARLYLE just not really going to do it. So this is number 6, hard pass in my opinion. If you're a Penguins fan or a Randy CARLYLE fan, I totally understand it. But if you're looking to, you know, kind of go after the best players here, not one of them. Coming in at number 5 is the 94 Connor HELLEBUYCK. And the reason why he is number 5 is that goaltenders, like I've said forever, guys, just not really going to make or break your team. It's all about defense. That being said, this legitimately looks like an inch taller version of Carey Price. So if you take all of the attributes, as well as the goal post to post, this should be the best goaltender there is out there right now. Again, Carey Price is one of the best that I've used all year long, as many of you guys have as well. Same with Vasilevsky. It appears that the 6'3", 6'4" guys, as long as they've got goal post to post, kind of trump the bigger, slower goaltenders. So if you are looking for the absolute best goaltender out there right now, just on paper, this is it. Again, guys, I don't try out all the goaltenders because they really just don't matter all that much. I've been using my X Factor Carey Price the whole year, and he's been great for me. Let me know if you guys use Connor HELLEBUYCK or if you face him, if he's absolutely cracked or not. 4 is the 94 Alexander BARKOV, and I need to mention, guys, again, before you start flaming the rankings and having him lower, I'm not saying that he is not a good card. He is a very good centerman, and as we've come to learn this year, there just doesn't appear that they're going to give big centerman the ability to actually skate fast, and that's fine. That's just how it's going to be. He has great synergies. He can get up to 92 speed, 90 acceleration, has Born Leader, quick draw, which is awesome, shutdown. Again, not a bad ability for centerman, but obviously much more important on defenseman. He's phenomenal. Like, this is one of the best centermen in the game right now, just based on size, his defensive abilities, body checking, shot, all of that. I'm going to show you why, guys, that some of these master set players, you know, in terms of the X Factor comparison. So we're going to take a look. This 94 Alexander BARKOV, right? Obviously 92 speed, 90 acceleration, just very good in general. Here's what I want to bring up to you guys, okay? Because a lot of people get hung up on the X Factors, but you forget about a couple of events ago. If you go and take a look at the 93 Leon Draisaitl right now, and I know I kind of flamed Draisaitl's X Factor, and I still kind of stand by that. 294,000 coins right now, and you can put Spark or Fly the Zone, which would get him up to 91 speed. He's got Thief, and he's got Booming Shot, so now his agility is even higher. And, you know, again, just very, very similar. Obviously, Barkov is a little bit better, but you're paying 550,000 coins roughly to get these guys. If you were to go to the 86 all the way up to the 94, or if you want to buy him on the market, he's going for like 700,000 coins. For half the price, essentially, you can get a card that's got basically one less acceleration and one less speed, a better shot, and the same defensive abilities. The only downfall is that he doesn't have quick draw, but I just wanted to bring that up. Like the X Factor Leon Draisaitl, while he eventually will be very good, if you just save your coins or prepare to buy the team of the season that will eventually come out, that's what makes his X Factor not really worth the investment. And it's something that I brought up recently again on Reddit. And I'm not saying that he is not a great card, his X Factor specifically. Same with Matthews. It's just the cost to get his X Factor up is just so high. And then when you look at the abilities that he has at the end, they're just not very good, in all honesty, like in terms of what you're comparing them to. So that's why I'm not big on the Leon Draisaitl X Factor card anymore. He just did not get the boost that he kind of needs. And the cost is just so high. Again, the slow skating X Factors, guys, they're just very hard to justify upgrading because you're spending 80,000 coins to do this next tier, the last one that's out right now before he gets his next upgrade, and everyone is going to be a little bit higher, and he's just very slow when you can go out and buy one that's exactly the same for a fraction of the cost. So I just want to bring that up, and that's why currently I have Barkov at number 4. There's just cheaper comps that are very, very close. So that I just want to go into kind of a rant and a tangent there, but this is a very, very good card, and definitely a really interesting one because of quick draw. And if he's going to be your first line center, Born Leader on a first line center is phenomenal. I have the silver one on Zetterberg, and it really, really helps out. Coming in at number 3 is the 94 John Carlson with Workhorse, Distributor, and Wingman. You could go Buzzing as well to get his speed up to 94 if you wanted. Also could go Spark to get his body checking up a little bit higher. The only downfall of John Carlson is that he doesn't have Shutdown, which just appears to be one of the best zone abilities outside of like goal post to post. But he does have that shot with 1T and Seeing Eye, which appears to be the combo kind of needed to actually score D-to-D one-timers. But if you ignore all of that, at 94 acceleration, 93 speed, and 6'3", maxed out defensive stats, you've got one of the best right-handed defensemen in the game currently. The only issue is that if you have Burns, I would rather have Burns. Maybe a hot take, but again, if you know how to defend the rush well and you're not playing end-to-end, Brent Burns is still phenomenal. Maybe you didn't get Erik Karlsson. Maybe you don't have Shea Weber. Maybe you've got some 90s and you missed out on those guys. This John Carlson card is going to be very good, and I think his value might take a little bit of a hit because of his X Factor. And I'm not going to lie, if he had Shutdown, it would be kind of a slam dunk. But if we take a look at his X Factor, I'm low-key liking the new Master card more than his X Factor right now. I do think that eventually he's going to be among one of the best right-handed defensemen. I do, however, really think that Hamilton is better just overall because, again, you can only get one skating stat on this John Carlson. He can't get another one, guys. So you got to keep that in mind. I'm not going to lie, had this Master player come out, John Carlson would have been great, but now seeing that you can get the 94 John Carlson, who's just far better, in my opinion, than his X Factor, probably the play. I don't know if I'd abandon, like, if you've got like the high 90 John Carlson or the low 90 John Carlson, I don't know if I'd recommend just refunding, but you have to think long and hard, to be honest with you, because again, that Master Icon one is just a lot better. Coming in at number 2 is the 94 Ryan Smyth, a really interesting card. I actually packed him yesterday on stream, which was awesome. It's my first Master card I pulled in I don't know how long. Just a really interesting build. I mean, he's got Workhorse as well as Distributor and Fly the Zone with Light the Lamp. And it's been a while since we've gotten a really high-end left-handed winger. Now, I know everyone's going to say, hey, we got Paul Bissonnette. For anyone that used Bissonnette, he's a really fun card with Truculence. And, the ability to just crush people, but his hand stats were so low that he was very stiff feeling. And again, I've gotten a bunch of feedback from the community on that. This is the only issue is if you've got a high-end team. So if you've got a team like mine, it's very difficult to slot Ryan Smyth in. So he's going to have 94 acceleration, 93 speed, and a really fun combo of abilities. Born Leader, if he's high up in your lineup, going to be phenomenal for you. Big Tipper and Total Eclipse are great, but mostly on centerman. And Close Quarters does activate above the hash mark. So I think this does have a little bit more, more use than a lot of people think. But it's just going to be tough in the landscape if you have a top end team. So let's pretend you don't have. I'll show you my team right now and how it's going to line up. If you don't have, let's say, Evo Duchesne, or if you play McDavid on the wing, then he's going to be very, very high in your lineup. And honestly, I have Rantanen, and I would play Rantanen ahead of him, in all honesty, but I'm just trying him out. So it's very difficult. Like, if you have McDavid, even the X Factor, and Rantanen, he's not going to be useful for you. Now, he can play center if you are good on the draw. He has 83 face-off, and if you activate Heart and Soul, goes up a little bit higher. I really wouldn't do that. Or if you go Fly the Zone as well, that does get it up. So if you go Fly the Zone instead of Distributed, you could play him at center, and that makes him pretty interesting, to be honest with you, because you've got a 6'2 center that's very quick, does have Total Eclipse and Big Tipper, which is an interesting center build, and then everything else is 99. So at center, it does give you some options. His just face-off rating is a little low in consideration, but again, if you're good at the draws, it won't really matter. So a very, very interesting card. It's all going to depend on your lineup, though. And then lastly, guys, we've got the 94 TREVOR Linden coming in at number 1. The reason why I think that he's the best card out of this build is just his combo of everything. So he is essentially the perfect defensive center. 6'4", 99 face-up, basically 99 defensive awareness and stick checking. You can get it up a little bit higher with Thief instead of Applesauce if you wanted to. And then he does have Workhorse, Spark, and Buzzing, so you could go 92 acceleration, 90 speed. Now, that is low, obviously. He is 6'4", so that matters a little bit less. It's when you combined everything here. So Born Leader on your first line center, phenomenal. Total Eclipse and Big Tipper makes him deadly if he sits in front of the net. If you use Crash the Net or Overload and you're firing pucks from the point and he's in front, it's going to be very difficult for your defenseman or their goaltender to stop it. And Silver Quick Draw with Tape to Tape. This is essentially almost the perfect combination of abilities for a centerman, and he's 6'4" with 92 acceleration. Again, I have mentioned that, like Leon Draisaitl, for example, the Hockey Roots card, very similar except for the abilities and whatnot. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, none of these cards I think are absolute must-haves, but if you're looking for one of, if not the best centerman right now, TREVOR Linden, just when you add everything up, looks to be it. So guys, those were the rankings for the Leaders event. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Curious to see. I know this event wasn't as exciting as some of the past ones, but we do have the All-Star one coming up very shortly, and that's going to be an absolute banger, I promise you that. Let me know again what your thoughts are, and I will see you next time. Have a good one, guys.